Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is @FeelThePainPW, or Nick Payne if you prefer, and you're watching my F1 2020 My Team career, and you're watching the 12th episode now. And if you didn't check out my last video, please go do so now. It was at the Austrian Grand Prix, and it was such a great result for us. We actually qualified in P1. We had a new power unit practically. We changed about 4 parts in the power unit, so we had so much power in the car, so much ferocity that we actually got P1, and we kept it all the way through until we had to box for a set of intermediate tyres because the wet weather came down. But we did get that back because Hamilton tried staying out for too long, and yeah, we came across the line in P1, so we won the race. Great result for us. Another 26 points due to the fastest lap as well. Great to see the celebrations from all the team as well. So yeah, I never thought that I'd be seeing that in the first season, but here we are. Great result for the team, as you can see, with the podium celebrations as well. A little bit of a trick shot with the with the champagne. So yeah, great result for the team, and that actually gave us the opportunity to get another sponsor in. We've actually gone ahead and signed XXY, because the sponsor goal is only complete all the practice programs, and I was doing that anyway, so I may as well get paid 200k for it. So yeah, I think that's a great result, and I like the look of the logo, and we can actually put that onto the car now, as you can see just ahead of me, that it's at the back of the side pod. So yeah, I think that's a great decision now. And as you can see, Jack Aiken, we have to either re-sign him or sign another driver now, as the contracts ran out. So we're going to re-sign Jack Aiken. We're going to go to high risk, because, I mean, we've got everything he could possibly ask for and more. And if he don't sign for us, then he ain't got a team. So I think that's the only way of looking at it, to be honest. So we're going to go with a high offer, which he does actually accept. So we're going to re-sign Jack Aiken to be our teammate for the rest of the season, and hopefully we can actually improve him a little bit more and maybe sign him again for the next season. As we go through and advance through, we've got a few activities that we need to fill up as well. So you can see ahead that there's 8 days available, 2 4 days, but unfortunately there's an invitational event in between, so it's 3 days and a 5 day. So we need to fill it up with a 3 day here. I think we're going to go with team building there, because it's going to improve all the department morale, and then go for a second driver PR, because it will improve the driver acclaim, and then a bit of simulator training to improve Jack a little bit more. And as you may be aware, it's the British Grand Prix this race, so we're actually going to change the livery slightly for this race, just so we've got a British theme. And as you can see, the invitational event is there, and we're going to actually get $150,000, or $100,000 shall I say, and 1,000 acclaim for doing the invitational event. So we're actually going to get quite a lot of money for it. Quite a bit better acclaim, which is always a little helping hand to keep running the company, should I say. As we go through to qualify now, let's see how we can get on in the race. As we go around the final quarter to start our first qualifying lap in our brand new livery, one-off livery, special livery, just for the British Grand Prix, of course, with the Union Jack on the sides. As we go quite deep into the quarter, as we go around the final couple of quarters here into the first sector, up the back straight towards Brooklands corner into Luffield, as Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. As we get that quite spot on, to be honest, as we go through Luffield, long right-hander, quite a technical track, the British Grand Prix. As you can see, a lot of tricky corners, a lot of technical long-handers, As you can see there, I'll go deep into Cops, which is only going to slow me down as we go through the very technical section of Maggots and Beckets. Quite a famous section of the track. Up the next back straight, up the long hanger, as we go through into the DRS zone, try to get as much into the car as possible. Actually hit the grass, tinkle a toe into the grass, and that's going to slow us down quite a bit as we go through the final couple of corners, through Vale, into the club section, round the final corner, and across the line for a P3 finish. So a good result there, but unfortunately for us, the P3 finish isn't good enough, as it does knock us down all the way to P12 due to all the cars who hadn't actually going out. So we go set another lap time on a brand new set of tyres, and we actually get a good result of P6, seeing us through to qualifying 2. So we are through, and as you can see, we go through for our first lap, and we can only get P15 unfortunately on our first lap, so we go for a second lap, and we do improve quite a lot by quite a few tenths of a second, and we actually get P5, so that does see us through to qualify in session 3 as well. So we're into the top 10, and we actually can only qualify in P10 because we're using extremely old tyres. But we go on to our second lap, we go deep into the club section on brand new set of soft tyres, and we actually can get P6 on the grid. So a great result for us. Now let's see how we can get on in the race.
Welcome along then to Great Britain and the Great Silverstone Circuit for today's Grand Prix. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone Circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase, and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, the rookie Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz and Sergio Perez, Norris, Stroll, Esteban Ocon and Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and Kimi Raikkonen, Grosjean, Russell, Aitken and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
And we're starting off in P6, of course, after the qualified session, and we're going to do a one-stop strategy, pitting in at lap 10 for a set of medium tyres, only going the one stop, and we're going to see how we get on in the race now as we go to 5 red lights, and it's we're underway finally. And as you can see, Bottas has a slow start, all the cars ahead of us have a slow start, but we're just jostling for position through into Abbey, trying not to break our front wing as there's 3 wide through that corner. Verstappen's slow, so we go right to the inside of him into the section into turn 3, and we actually get the move done, but we're side by side just like the Ferraris are side by side up ahead, and we finally make the move work just before the back straight into Brooklands. So we're up into P4 now as we've overtaken Bottas and Verstappen in the first couple of corners, and this is a great battle going on up ahead as Verstappen actually looks to come back at us down the inside in Luffield, and he's actually still got the nose in. We're still battling, we're still giving him the space, but we finally get back through as we go through into Cops now. And as you can see, as I was just about to comment on it, the battle is still going on between both Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. So we literally just sat back here watching with a bag of popcorn, and we actually are going to go slow into Maggotts and Beckett's, and Verstappen's going to go side by side with us, and we actually squeeze about just enough that we can keep the position with Rich Mix overtake mode as well, up the main hangar straight into the last couple of corners as we go through Stowe into the Vale and Club section, and we're going to come through the final corners of this lap, and we're going to finish in lap 1 in P4 now. So we're up by 2 places. We actually set the fastest sector 3 as well, as we're still trying to catch up to Leclerc and Vettel, but unfortunately for us, we're having a look with eyes in the backs of our heads at the moment, as Verstappen is very quick on our tail and we're quite slow through Maggotts and Beckett's as it is. And Verstappen's actually got side by side with us into the corner just before DRS, and he's got side by side with us, he's got DRS. We're going to have to go switch it to the inside, and hopefully he gives us some room, but we make contact and there's actually damage to our left side of our front wing as we tried to make the move into Stowe, and now we've got damage to deal with as Pierre Gasly is out of this Grand Prix. And there's a safety car involved, but we have damage, which is the main talking point for us, as Bottas is now through past Verstappen, and there's going to be a safety car, so it's going to bunch the whole field up, and we're going to have to deal with all the cars behind us as we got damage. As you can see, the safety cars in this lap about to restart, all the cars all bunched up together, all very close to each other as we try to stay with Leclerc, and he's got a great exit of the corner into Vale, and he's actually pulled out a huge gap from that exit, and we're going to have to just hold up as there's a change of strategy that's been said, but nothing comes up. Must have been a bug from the F1 game, unfortunately. But as we go through into the final sections of Sector 1, trying to keep with Leclerc, but the Ferrari is just pulling away rapidly, so we can't keep up. We're just having to stay with Bottas, unfortunately, just keeping Bottas behind us, and hopefully we can just stay like that and hopefully keep him there for as long as possible, considering we've got the front wing damage, and it's currently Hamilton leads from Vettel, leads from Leclerc, leads from ourselves as we go into the back straight into the Copse section, Copse corner. Just before Maggotts and Beckett's, we go slightly deep over the curb, and thankfully we still have the position of Bottas, but this is the first time we've had to go competitively through Maggotts and Beckett's with the damage of the front wing. To be fair, I think that's the best we could do with, as Bottas tries to look around the outside but can't actually make the move work, as we're up the hangar straight into Stowe, and we've still got the position of Bottas for the time being, as he's still trying to battle through, trying to find any opportunity, any sort of weakness, as Vettel actually comes into the pits now earlier than I expected, and he must be fitting the hard tyre and just going for the one stop. Maybe his soft tyres have worn off, maybe he's got a bit of damage, but either way we've still got the position as Bottas actually tries to make a move down the inside of Abbey, and he actually made contact with our back tyre, and we actually spin him out accidentally, and he spins off into the pit lane, and he's going to be at the back of the grid now as we come through to lap 7, and we're slow through Maggotts Beckett's once again due to the damage, and we're actually going to go side by side with Verstappen here. Can we keep in front of him as we go to Rich Bits? So we've got overtake mode in, using what little we have, and we're still in the lead of Verstappen, currently in P3, and we actually make contact through Stowe, and we've gone to the inside of Vale, and we've still got the position just as Verstappen is making it very, very difficult for me here, as he's racing on medium tyres, but DRS is enabled, and we're through. As we come through to lap 8, and we're actually slow through Copse, and that actually allows Ricciardo to come side by side for us. He has the inside lane, which is going to turn into the lane where Albon's trying to get through as well, but Ricciardo's through Maggotts and Beckett's, and now we've got to deal with Albon trying to get through as we go through the last corner at the end of Maggots and Beckett's, up the hanger straight with Albon and Verstappen hot on our tails with a whole gaggle of cars behind them. As we go through Stowe quite cleanly, even without or with the fact that we've got damage to our front wing, and we're still trying to stay with Ricciardo as much as hard as it's going to be, as we end lap 8 down in P4 now. As we go through lap 9 and we actually slow through Copse again, trying to control the car, and that's actually going to allow Alexander Albon, our rival, remember, to come close to us through Maggots and Beckett's as we're slow as it is. And he's actually just going to go straight on through at Chapel, and he's actually going to make the move work. And now we have to settle for P5 at the end of lap 9 as we try to make a move work on him, see if we can make a move work through Stowe, but unfortunately we don't have the speed or the overtake at the moment, as we used it all down at the Brooklyn straight, trying to catch up to Albon here through the last couple of corners, through Vale, deep into the club section. And now we're going to be boxing this lap as well, so I can assume that Albon and Ricciardo will be doing the same as well. As we come up through the pit lane, and we actually come into it quite aggressively as well, and we're stuck behind the Alexander Albon, our rival, and Ricciardo, who did come into the pits. We've got Carlos Sainz, who also is coming into the pits behind us, as Albon goes in, Ricciardo goes in, Sainz is now in. We're still waiting as Alexander Albon and Ricciardo are already out, and we're going to have to change our front wing, remember, which ain't the worst thing in the world. It's going to make us lose a position to Carlos Sainz and possibly a few other positions to the cars still out on track. But the matter of the fact is, we're going to gain a lot of time due to the fact that we're able to go at full speed, and we're going to be able to go around each corner, and that's going to help us through the Maggots and Beckett's section. Let me just put my teeth back into my throat. As we go through, and we're out of the pit lane. We went in at P5, we're down into P20 now, but we've got the Pink Panther of Sergio Perez, the Racing Point, just in front of us here. As we go through into the DRS section with overtake mode, we're going to go around the outside on the fresher medium tyres round at Brooklands, and we're up into P19 now as we make the move done on the Mexican there, as we go through into Luffield, and we keep the position in P19 as we come through at the end of lap 11 going into lap 12. And as you can see, a hell of a load of cars are in the pits at the moment. We was at P19, we're now up to P13 as a load of cars are in the pits, as Stroll is just ahead of us here on lap 13. See if we can make a move now on Stroll as we're into the DRS zone, DRS figure, and we're actually going to do the exact same move as we did on his teammate in Perez, and we're going to go to the outside of Lance Stroll and make the move work into Luffield, and we're up another place now, and we're up into P8 as we go through into lap 16, and we're right on the tail of Sainz. We just hit the fastest sector 3 of the race. We haven't set a fastest lap yet, but we're currently in P7 as Verstappen came into the pits after going a long time on those medium tyres. Now he's going on the softs, and we're just going to try see if we can overtake Sainz here. Can we make the exact same move as we did on Perez and Stroll as we go look for the outside, but he gives us the inside, so we go and take it, and we actually grind the car through, and we actually make the move work, and we're up into P6 now with our rival in Alexander Albon just up ahead. Can we make a move work? Can we catch up to him before the end of this race? We've still got 10 laps to go with quite a few, with a second and a bit to go here on lap 22, and we're actually quite very close to him now. It's just about half a second or 4/10 of a second as we come through into turn 3, up round the final corners just before the back straight of the DRS zone, as we're on the tail just like we have done with Stroll, just like we did with all the other cars, and we're on the tail of Albon. We go to the inside just like we did with Sainz, make the move work, and we're up another place now here in this British Grand Prix, in our home Grand Prix, of course, remember. And we're up into P5 now, with Ricciardo up ahead, here on lap 22. Can we catch up to Ricciardo? Can we see if we can get another place here in this Grand Prix as we actually go deep into Copse? And that's actually going to allow Alexander Albon to attack. And we hit his back tyre. We nearly Bottas ourselves, just like Bottas did earlier in the Grand Prix. So we leave it alone, hold off, have patience, regain our composure, use the DRS, go to overtake mode, see if we can catch him. See if we can get past at Stowe. We go to the inside of Stowe, squeeze him out. He tries to switch back on us into Stowe. He actually makes contact with us now, as we're on the medium compound. He's on the hard compound. We go through Vale into Club, and we've made the move work now. And we're up into P5 here at the end of lap 22. And we're finally round the final corner here at lap 26. Across the checker flag for P5 now. Great result for us in our home Grand Prix, of course. Another good amount of points on the board for us as Daniel Ricciardo gets driver of the day. But for us, a great result.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone. It was a memorable race, and what an impressive victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. So let's review the updates.
And we actually get, obviously, P5 in the race, so we did gain up one position in the race. So not the worst result. We didn't lose any positions. We got 10 points on the board, so a good result for us. I'd definitely taken this before the race, considering the cars that were around us. Daniel Ricciardo, deserving of driver of the day. He went from 8th to 4th, so good result for him. Just missing out on the podium, of course, as Jack Aiken finishes in P19. And as we look through to the standings, we actually stay in P7 in the World Drivers' Championship with quite a hell of a lot of points as we're looking to track down and chase after Alexander Albon. And yeah, see if we can push away as Lewis Hamilton's up into second place now with his win, as Valtteri Bottas stays in first place, same as Mercedes, and Ferrari up into P2 as we stay in P4 in the constructors. And that's where I'm going to finish this episode. If you have liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you haven't, if you've got any thoughts below, please comment them down. I do like reading them. I've been at Feel the Pain PW. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.